It was not the easiest thing to do, and it was not the best situation.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have again another video about the scholarships, and this time I'm gonna be talking about scholarships to Japan again. Yeah, but there are some that I didn't make videos about, like for example for professors or undergraduate scholarships. So today I'm gonna be talking about professor scholarship, and for that we have a new guest, Luis. So Luis, hello, how are you?
Hello, doing well, doing well.
So I actually met Luis in Japan for the first time. Yeah, he's from Costa Rica, but I met him in Japan. And after that, he got a scholarship to go there. So we're gonna be talking about that scholarship. So how did you actually found the information for this scholarship, or when did you found it and when did you apply and all of this? Let's talk about all of this about the scholarship that you got.
To start with the beginning, all the information is in the webpage. All embassies have their own webpage. Of course, you have to access the embassy of your country. Go to the section from where it says scholarships, and then you will see the scholarships that are available for your country. There is one scholarship that is specifically for teachers, not English teachers, but any teachers of any signature. So it could be math, science, social studies. Yeah, basically you just need to get into the webpage. You will see it there. Some of the forms are going to be in English, but anyway, if you want to apply for the scholarship, you do need to speak English. So that should not be a problem. Okay, first, the scholarship normally opens on December. The scholarship opens in the middle of December. It used to be like around December the 14th, and it closed on the middle of February. It would really depends. You have all that time to apply for the scholarship. Whoever has interest in the scholarship, is better to start soon because there is a lot of materials to read. The sooner you start, the better.
Like you said that English is a requirement, but like so many people that want to go to Japan, they think that Japanese is a requirement. So I don't know, like you said that English is a requirement, but what about Japanese?
Japanese, when I apply for the scholarship, you only have to do an English test. Now they are requesting for Japanese. The form that says if your result is 0, then they will not take you into consideration for the scholarship. But if you have a 1, I think you already good to go. So it's like, if you do not know Japanese, I will suggest you to study hiragana, katakana, some basic Japanese. There are plentiful of resources that you can self-taught yourself. I think Veronica has some good videos on Japanese for beginners. Use that kind of videos, other resources. Study by yourself or take some classes and do the test. You do not need to know Japanese because the classes and the courses, everything is going to be in English. So yeah, those are the requirements regarding language, I will say. Other than that, since it's for teachers, then you do need to be teaching, or at least you have to have 5 years of experience teaching.
You say like teaching, but for example, I know like some people that study education, they are not teaching an institution, they are like freelance teaching, I don't know, tutor or something like that. Can these kind of people also apply for this scholarship or no?
In that case, I guess you will have to prove that you have been teaching for 5 years. I mean, if you are freelancing, I believe you will not.
Okay.
So yeah, if you are in the private sector, it's fine. If you're the public sector, it's fine. If you're a freelancer, it will be really hard unless you have somebody who can certify that you have been working for at least 5 years by the time you go to Japan. So let's say you apply in December and you still do not have the 5 years, but the scholarship is starting in October of the next year. So by October the next year, you already have the 5 years of experience. There you are good to go. You can apply to the scholarship.
What about another documents that you have to submit?
The forms that appear in the webpage, like the regular forms that you have to complete. Other than that, you have to do the medical test. For the medical test, it's a whole bunch of tests, including like X-ray, blood test, and general checkup. If you are selected as a candidate, they will let you know. They will let you know before you are selected, like the main character. Let's say they make like the group, right? And they select 5-10 people, and from that small group, they let everybody know, like, okay, you have been selected for the second stage of the of the evaluation for the scholarship. If they tell you you have been selected for the scholarship, do the test right away. Because if you get the scholarship, you will have to fill up other forms. They will send you other forms that you have to complete. I believe you have to present a document that certify that you have a clean criminal record, and other forms.
Like for example, in the beginning you have to apply, make all the application form, and then you do the test, and then after that they tell you, or do you have to do any kind of interview?
How the procedure goes, right? You submit the form. They'll let you know of a day day and time where you're supposed to go to the embassy. You are gonna do the written test, the Japanese test, and after that you're gonna have an interview with 3 members of the embassy. Who those members are gonna be will really depends on availability, who is there, and there might be like a guest, like somebody, like, I don't know, a teacher from an important institution, or somebody has some connections with Japan, something like. And then you're gonna have like an interview with them, and they are gonna make you some questions related, like why do you want to get the scholarship, why you are a good candidate, what experience do you have teaching. And something quite important that actually I did not know at the moment of the interview, they're going to ask you for your research topic. One of the main things that you're going to be doing once you go to Japan is to do a research paper, and you have to publish that paper. You do not need to do the same topic that you will tell in the embassy. You can change that on the way. I mean, you can change that later with your supervisor. In my case, I have to come with the topic right in the spot, right? So it was, it was not the easiest thing to do, and it was not the best situation.
Do you have any requirements that is for age requirements, or like I don't know, like I know that there are so many teachers or professors that they have been working, so they are already married and they are like with a family, and I don't know, like some of these people that have been asking me in Costa Rica that they are professors, they want to apply for this. They ask me about like what will happen to their family. Will they be able to get a visa to travel with you or no? So what about these kind of specific requirements?
Okay, you have to be no older than 35 years at the time of going to Japan. If you have a family, they will help you moving your family to Japan, so you can actually do that. Of course, that doesn't mean the scholarship will include more money. I mean, it's going to be the same amount of money, so that's something to take into consideration. Now, they will not go at the same time than you. You will have to go, fix yourself in Japan, get your resident permit in Japan. Most likely, you're going to be living in the dorms, at least the first 6 months from the university that you're going to be doing the language classes. And then after 3 or 4 months of being in Japan, your family will come. Most of the residences, for like student residents, have rooms for families.
Okay, and another question that many people like do make, and is like, I know like money, we were talking about right now, like all this money situation, like how much do the scholarship actually give to professor, or like teachers in this case, to go to Japan? About
the benefits, then summarizing, it will include the flight tickets, a monthly scholarship that will be around $2,000. Is good enough for you to be in Japan, so don't worry about that. And of course, they will pay for the courses. The university is not necessarily is going to be a public one. It can be a private one, and even if it is public, right, Japanese students still have to pay for it. So the scholarship will cover that. So basically, it's covered almost everything. Something quite important: when you go to Japan, if you get selected for the scholarship, you get the money at the end of the first month being there, right? So the first month you have to survive by yourself. So when you arrive to Japan, you have to sign a contract for the place where you're going to be staying, the dorm, or if you decide to rent an apartment, you can do that too, right? You have to pay for health insurance and other small papers. You have to open a bank account, and clearly you will need money for food and transportation the first month. That runs on you. So you will need around, I don't know, $1,500, $2,000, depending on the area where you're going to be living for the first month. You can do it with less. Yes, I would suggest to have at least $1,500.
Specifically for the teacher's scholarship. Like, since there are so many areas of Japan, do you choose which area you are going to go, or you cannot choose as the same
Okay.
case of my scholarship?
No, at the time of submitting the application, you have to choose 3 universities in priority of preference. That's something you have to look yourself. That's something you will find in the webpage. There is a link in the form. So you will have to search yourself what would be the university that will offer a program on your specialty, let's say social studies or science or English. You can access the webpage of the university, check the programs, check the campus, and then based on that decide what kind of university you would like to go. You get the right to choose 3 universities, but at the end they are going to assign you to the university who has a space. So do not expect to go to the university that you put on first option. You might go to the second or the third one.
Okay, and now let's talk about, like, now we know all the benefits, we know the requirements, we know how much money we're gonna get, and we know how to choose the universities. Now let's talk about the length of the scholarship. It's like, how long do you have to be in Japan? You said that it's 6 months of studies of the language, but after that, do you have like to graduating at a specific time? Or, for example, it's
Okay.
only 2 years or 1 year, or how long is it?
The total length of the scholarship, it will be 1 year and a half.
Okay.
You will be living in the middle of September of whatever year you are going, let's say. So you're gonna be starting classes the first week of October. You're gonna take 6 months of Japanese intense Japanese language course, and after that you're gonna either move to the department of your specialty or move to the university where you're gonna be doing the research paper. And there you're gonna spend 1 year. So you will be coming back if you do it next year. So it will be on March of 2023. Something quite important is that when you sign the papers, you are agreeing to come back to Costa Rica to work. So you cannot stay. For many scholarships, you can go and extend, right? Like if you are an undergraduate student, you
Yeah.
can go and do your bachelor. With this scholarship, you cannot. Yeah, you have to go back to your country after at the end of the scholarship. You cannot extend it, or you cannot start a master degree. That is not an option.
Okay.
If you decide that you want to continue your studies in Japan, then that will be by yourself. Can you get married? Well, I guess you can do it. I'm sure there are people who has done it, but you still have to leave the country
and
then come back.
do everything else. Okay, thank you so
Yeah.
much for saying
Yeah.
that, because I know like so many people say, and I know that the other scholarships, undergraduate and masters and all of this you can say, but this one, thank you for saying that, because I know like many of you just want to go and maybe your plan is to go and study and after live forever in Japan. So just remember this, you have to come back to your own country.
Yeah, you have to come back. Of course there are always windows, and perhaps there is a way to stay in Japan, but not with a scholarship. And perhaps it's not recommended, right? At the end, you're still an ambassador of your country. If you break a rule, you're affecting not only yourself, but all the people who wants to go after you.
Okay, I think like we cover mostly all the like specific informations. So now let's talk a little bit about the experience that you had in Japan as a teacher. Do you have to write like the, I don't know, study plan when you go to Japan? Or how was the university? How were the advisors, your classes? Tell us about that kind of experience of studying abroad, in this case in Japan.
Yeah, well, the experience itself is amazing. I will say that. So that's kind of the first thing, right? It's just amazing. It's a great opportunity, especially if you have been working for many years, to kind of to go to your university years, right? Because you're gonna be stopping giving classes and you're gonna be back to being a student. It's challenging. The 6 months of Japanese language intensive course is intensive. So you are pretty much you're gonna be going 4 days a week to Japanese classes from 8 o'clock, I think, pretty much until noon. So yeah, it's intensive. It's hard, but it's not impossible. The most important part for this scholarship is the second part. Is that year that you're gonna spend in your area, in your university, doing the research paper and taking those classes on your specialty. Then about the university, in my case, I was sent to Tohoku region. I spent the first 6 months on Tohoku University. So yeah, you're gonna be taking classes, you're gonna be doing a research paper, and the university might also do some volunteering you have to pretty much take part on. In my case, we visit a primary school and a high school, and we pretty much have to share with the kids. It's not even actually like giving a class, it's more like telling from where are you from, play some games. They really like to know that, like, about the country you are coming from. In my particular case, since I was in the Tohoku region, I had the opportunity to volunteer myself with one of the university teachers and go to do some volunteer in the Fukushima area.
Oh wow.
Specifically in the Okuma area. That was a city that pretty much after the nuclear disaster in Fukushima, they have to move everyone. So they pretty much took the town and moved it to a kind of a temporary town in a nearby place. So everybody has to leave their lives behind and they have to start from zero. My teacher, Allison, she actually was working in the region by the time of the disaster. She was living in the region, so she had to abandon her family, all the people she knew, and kind of move to Tohoku and start over. So she was very connected to the area, so it was really nice to go to the area, to see how after the whole disaster, these people are thrilling and they are doing great and they are, like with all the hopes. Some people wants to go back, some other people are more into, not going back. So yeah, that depending on the region, you might be doing some different volunteerings. And I would strongly suggest you to volunteer yourself as much as possible, because that will really enrich the whole experience.
Mm-hmm.
Every city kind of have like a foreign department or a tourism department. They are kind of related. In my case, in Tohoku region, since they still recovering from the whole tsunami on 2011, they have like this Travel Tohoku initiative. So they look for foreigners to volunteer to do trips with them.
Oh wow.
So it was a free trip that I wouldn't do it myself otherwise. They pretty much they were looking for foreigners who were studying in the region to participate in 1 or 2 days trips. So wherever you go, make sure to check on those pages. Make sure to check on the municipality page, see if there is any group that might be looking for foreigners for different initiatives. You might end up eating for free or traveling for free. In my case, I did manage to go to the northern region, stay in a very fancy hotel, going to an onsen, going to some other shops. So yeah, depending on that. And of course, during my free time, I did manage to travel. Once again, the amount of money they give you, especially if you don't live in Tokyo region, is enough.
Mm-hmm.
And you can save it and you can use it to travel around Japan. Traveling around Japan is expensive, but it's doable.
Yeah, Tokyo in the Tokyo region is really expensive. I already talked to some people that have been trying to ask me like, what about like Kyoto or something like that. I know like Tokyo is like really expensive area. So in the case of Tokyo, I know like many, like including me, the scholarship maybe was enough, but not to travel or anything else.
Yeah.
So that's also another of the perks to study in another like more far away regions. Universities are still really good. Tohoku University has a good ranking, but I know many people want to travel to Tokyo. So try to think about that too when applying to scholarships.
That's for sure. I mean, do not be afraid to choose another region than Tokyo. I know that when you think about Japan, you think about Tokyo and about the buildings and about the whole amount of things that you have seen in internet about Tokyo and how amazing it is. It is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But no matter where you are in Japan, you will have the chance to go to Tokyo anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be perhaps better to choose a region outside of Tokyo. Do not be afraid to choose a region you have never heard about it. I'm sure you will enjoy it. I'm sure you will find amazing stuff there. And if it is out of the Tokyo area, it's going to be way cheaper.
Thank you for explaining that. And I have one last question. So I actually, I asked this to the person of the scholarship to go to United States. And I kind of like this question that is like, if you had to change anything in the application process or in your study in Japan, like if you had to change anything or something that you regret you didn't know before going to Japan, what would that be?
So yeah, I wouldn't change anything from the whole experience because good or bad things at the end they help me to grow and they come and sum up, right? something bad that happened at the end, and that to be an experience, and that to be a story you can speak with your friends about it, laugh about it. So I wouldn't change a thing. Of course, there will be things that you might not like, but I wouldn't change them. At the end, all of them were good experience or help me to grow somehow. Yeah, I guess like the last thing that I can say, like to sum up everything, like if I can give an advice to whoever might be thinking to apply for this, it will be to inform yourself. Inform yourself, read carefully. It's a serious thing, so take time to read the whole thing. Consider whether this is a scholarship for you or not. Personally speaking, I would say it's an amazing experience. It might not be for everyone because it might require some sacrifice, and it might be to quit your job or not being with your beloved people for a certain time, even like 1 year and a half. It really depends, and running the risk that once you are there, if something happened back home, you might not be able to go. These kind of things might happen, so it's a stuff that you need to take into consideration. But that you will run that risk wherever you go, right? It's not something specific with Japan. Other than that, challenge yourself to go out of the comfort zone and apply for the scholarship. It's gonna be a great experience. It might not help your curriculum that much as you would like it to do, because actually it's gonna be 1 year and a half and you can do a lot in 1 year and a half, but it's gonna help you to grow as a person in an amazing way. That's kind of the highlight of the whole experience. The person that left the country and the person that goes back, it will be a complete different person. For good or for bad, but it's gonna be a complete different person. So inform yourself, take into consideration the good stuff and also the risks that you are taking by going into the country. And if you're okay with that and you believe that's a risk you can take, go for it. It's a great experience. Do not focus on Tokyo. There are a whole bunch of areas where you can go. The education is going to be good, and perhaps it's going to be cheaper, and that's going to help you a lot. And I think that kind of sum up. There is so much that you can say about this scholarship, but just like this video, I know there are other videos either in Veronica's channel or a whole bunch of other channels that you can inform yourself. And before I forget, most of universities have foreign students. Check if they have a foreign students association, because at the end, whoever is part of that association is also a foreigner and perhaps has suffered the same thing you are suffering. So it's really nice to have people to speak about it who will understand you, who might be from a country, from the same region you are coming from, and if not, it will be people to learn and hang out with. And yeah, go for it. Good luck for whoever wants to apply for the scholarship. My best of the wishes, and go for it.
Thank you so much for all these answers. I also want to give like some advice to any of you that want to try to go to Japan. I know like I have been talking like this is specifically for teachers, but I also talk for like master degrees in my channel. I also have for like the specialized training in my channel, and for everyone I have the same advice. Sometimes you want to go to a country, or you have this expectation of a country. I don't know, like right now, for example, I'm in the United States. Before I came to live in the United States, I have an image of that country, but then after I came here, that image changed. So sometimes you may say like, okay, I want to go to Japan really bad, I want to get a scholarship and go and study there, but as Luis said, do your research and try to see if this is something that is going to work for you. As he also said, you're going to be the ambassador of your country, so make sure that if you want to apply for any kind of scholarships to go to Japan, please finish that scholarship and like do your best until the end, because as he said, like there may be consequences for all the people that try to apply for the scholarship, and in the end they don't follow the rules, they go back to their country, the country is the one that is gonna suffer. So if you really want to go to Japan with this scholarship, do your best, do all the research, search for every single university, try to get the best one and enjoy the experience, because as he said, it may be so many downfalls in the way, but then also there are so many good things, and maybe you are not gonna learn only for the teaching education kind of part, but also you're gonna learn so many things for your life. So yeah, that's the thing that I wanted to say to anyone, not only for the teachers scholarship. So thank you for being today in this interview. It may be a little bit long, this video, but thank you so much for answering to all my questions. And that's all. So see you guys in the next video for the next scholarship. So bye bye, Luis. Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.
If you ever plan to go to Japan and you are willing to take Veronica, you can do it. She will do a great job as a tourist guide.